Hey guys, so just a quick heads up, the new single is out. It's a music therapy track, and I'd called it Therapy Reigns V1, and I wanted to, which is short for Volume 1, and I wanted to have Volume 1, Volume 2, etc., etc. Well, there was a hold-up, because you're not allowed, the people that I'm releasing my tracks with, do not allow. Actually, it's Apple who don't allow. It's iTunes. So they sent it back and said, your title was flagged by iTunes. We do not allow anything with V1, but you can have part 1. And I thought, that's so weird, isn't it? That's so weird. Anyway, it got me to thinking about the internet and how the title... In the olden days, when bands released albums, the album could be a really obscure word and it wasn't a problem. You'd still go and find the album. But nowadays, your titles, so that the machines can read the titles well and properly, they have to be formatted in a way that they understand. I tried to release an album with just a symbol for a title. Couldn't do that. I've tried to use weird symbols. Couldn't do that. And I've also used my artwork where I've had a signature in the corner, a really messy scrawl, and I haven't been able to use that. And this is all about the machine being able to read, for the ease of the machine, so that the machine understands, so that the machine knows where to categorise you and the machine puts you in a slot. It's nightmarish. But of course, if you don't comply, the machine won't recognise you, and you're punished with invisibility, and nobody will find your work. And it's really, I was just thinking there about how that curbs creativity. It curbs the unusual. Just in the same way that artworks are read by the machine. I mean, the machine is getting a bit better at reading artworks, but it's still pretty poor. And it confuses. We know, I had a portrait of myself on to my printers because I was releasing a bunch of self-portraits for my art gallery. And I got a message back saying that it's been flagged for copyright because it's Lady Gaga. I was like, what? That's absurd. So I wrote back and I said, it's not Lady Gaga. And they wrote back and they said, it is Lady Gaga. So eventually I had to go to a ticket, do a support ticket. All these things always take so much time because the last 2 things I've spoken to were AI. Were robots, the machine. And you know that because they give stock answers. And it's only when you get a message back to say, we have looked into your da-da-da-da-da-da, that you know that a real human's actually looked at it. So the 3rd message said, I have looked and I have seen that this is not Lady Gaga. And it is now available for release. And I just thought, what a palaver, What a palaver. Now, this is a terrible thing for us because AI is so often wrong. And this is going to be a problem. Hang on a minute. Just drinking some water there, guys. It's going to be a massive problem. Now, they reckon they can use face recognition for criminality, for various other things. Well, people are already coming up saying, there's a black dude, actually, who was quite rotund with a moustache, I think, and he'd been accused of being the perpetrator of a crime because of face recognition. But it was just another rotund guy with a bit of a moustache, black. And you just think, wow, that's really bad. So I'm Lady Gaga, and this guy's a hardened robber. It was a big robbery. Whoa. Now, the dangers of that are incredibly profound if you start thinking about it. Now, in my book of immersion, they wear makeup to disguise themselves, and they wear angular makeup because this confuses the pixel readings, the compute of the machine, the surveillance machine. Yep. Now, I think we're going to see more of that. I think we're going to see, at some point in the future, people wearing masks to confuse the AI. And we will come up with things that do confuse it. You know, shapes, something that would perhaps wire cages on our faces or something that would, you know, confuse. Or would you need a complete barrier, or there must be something. I mean, some criminals must be developing this, and I hope they are, because this face recognition thing, I'm not happy with it. Only because I'm not involved in criminal activity ever. Sadly, you know, I'm not that exciting. But there may come a time when there's something else. Perhaps you're called to witness something and you just weren't there, and they say you have to witness, otherwise you're going to be charged with perjury, you know, for not telling the truth. Well, the cameras are lying. They're lying. Anyway, digressing a bit there. So getting back to my my latest track, the music therapy range, Rife Vibes series, I have done 2 tracks, one for diabetes, one for arthritis, and the album has had to be called Rain's Therapy for Diabetes and Arthritis. So the most boring title, but it is what it says on the tin. And this is, you know, a curse of our times. But then, you know, music therapy needs to have an appropriate title on it. There's no good me calling it Waves of Healing. Do you know what I mean? No, absolutely no point at all, much as I'd like to. Waves of Healing Volume 1, you see, that would have been great, wouldn't it? Part, I didn't like the P and the T. I didn't like the way that looked, so I didn't want to use that. So yes, there we go. A very boring title for an awesome couple of recordings. Just a quick heads up about how to use the Rife recordings. We sit, we get comfortable, we lie. We have no distractions, and we listen, and then we go into a zone of healing. We absorb the vibrations. They're there. You won't hear them necessarily. The vibrations are there, I can assure you. I've implanted the relevant molecular sensitive vibrations. They're all in there. If you listen really carefully, you might be able to hear them. And these will heal you from the inside. It is a holistic medicine. It's not proven as such, but there is a lot of anecdotal evidence to show that it works. And I tell you what, I listen to my Rife recordings and I've never been so healthy. Remembering that I have had cancer, I've had extreme mental health lapses, breakdowns. 2. I've had 2 or 3 actually. And I am now, after using the Rife Vibe series, because when I'm making them, I listen to them for hours, and I'm now healthier than I've ever been, even at 61. And it's a really good feeling. What have you got to lose? That's what I always think about holistic medicine. If it's an enjoyable process. So today I'm doing ballet and Tai Chi, and it may or may not improve my physical health, but I love doing it. And it keeps me fitter, and what have I got to lose? Do you see what I mean? And it's so good for mental health. Mental health is one of those things that's quite hard to measure in terms of, curative therapies. Because there are so many variables. So you could be doing this one thing that heals you for years, but then something awful could happen. You lose a loved one. And it feels like it didn't work, but you can't measure it because you don't know how you would have been. Do you see what I mean? It's almost impossible to measure mental health curative therapies. But what I do know is that after I've had a session, I feel better. And listening, and the act of completely relaxing and listening to the music, and humming to it, if you can bring yourself to hum to it. You don't have to hum in tune. You don't have to hum the tune. There isn't a tune. These are random hums. You can just hum. And you can just feel at one with the humming and the choir. So yeah, new release. It's out. It's over on the channel, Telltale Club channel on YouTube, which I'm not a great fan of YouTube, but there we go, so be it. It's also on all my websites, iServalan.com, telltaleclub.com, and I've got a new one, Immersion. I'm just waiting for the domain to point in that direction, but that's going to be for the books and the characters of my book. I'm very, very excited about creating the characters. Well, they're already created, and these are the band members as well, so absolutely thrilled to do those. So they'll all have their own entity properly. We're going to do Flex first, because I love Flex. Oh, also, great news for me, if not for you guys. I uploaded my laptop, my Mac, updated it rather, to the latest software, and I found all my Logic Pro projects that I'd lost. How amazing is that? Which means I can now go back to chapter 1 of Immersion, which is just being revamped for this final rebirth, this final incarnation into its own website. And I can rewrite the music, because I started this about 2 years ago, and the music, the software and the skills that I had were really low level. I mean, I think I did the early ones on GarageBand, and I didn't really know what I was doing. So I really want to do them again and I want to make them much richer. And so they'll all be, over the next 6 months, they'll all be re-released as new mastered, not even mastered, I mean completely redone, so that I can be really, really proud of them. I mean, I love them all and I am really proud of them, but they are quite rudimentary, and there are mistakes. I think that's the thing, guys. When you get good at something, you look at the early stuff and the mistakes just scream out loud, do they not? And you're just looking and going, I can do so much better now. So, this is what sets us apart. The ability to be confident in the first place and ballsy and just say, no, do you know what? I'm going to bloody well do it. Ballsiness, right? To be able to do that because you are an artist and you are courageous. But then the ability later on to look back and think, oh my God, I could do so much better now. Because artists develop, because they have this ballsiness, because they have this endeavour to explore, this energy to really analyse, explore, create, make, do. You see what I mean? Because they have all that. You're going to get better. You can't help but get better. If you're doing that every day, can you imagine if you didn't do that every day, if you just did it once and then you did it maybe a year later? That's not going to work, is it? Your ballsiness needs, I mean, I would say definitely weekly, but if you can, daily. Daily ballsiness. Get something out there every day. Be that courage. Be that courage that people look to and think, I really want that. I really want what they've got. I want that courage. Be it. Anyway, I'm off. So, new singles out. If you want some healing for diabetes, or it's a great Christmas present actually, but they're free. But you can buy the recordings. You can actually buy them. So you could buy one for Christmas for a present for somebody. I've no idea how much they are. I think about 40p. I think somebody. Well, a few people. I mean, they're my best sellers, basically. The healing therapies are the best sellers. And they seem to be about 30p, I think, on iTunes. Right, I'm away, guys. I'm away to be creative.